So here's a dark and sordid story coming out of Nevada. Not Nevada, it's Nevada. Well, what are they doing in Nevada? Well, apparently you have a bunch of child abusers. You got a bunch of child abusers in Nevada, specifically in Cold Springs, Washoe County. This here is Izabella Loving. Izabella Loving was found dead on April 3rd, 2025. She was 5 years of age. She had died at 2 in the morning, and then her parents had staged the scene. They moved the bed across the room, waited till 7 a.m. to call 911. They tried to resuscitate her. 6:55 specifically is when 911 was called, and then 7:22 a.m. on April 3rd, 2025 is when Izabella Loving was pronounced dead. Her parents was Nicholas Loving and Andrea Loving, and Izabella Loving also had 2 sisters. I got a lot of details about this and a lot of thoughts and opinions. This is actually, I'm re-traumatizing my own damn self. But I remember Candace Owens had once said that abused children shouldn't even be allowed to live in society. What a stupid, fucked up thing to say. Candace Owens said that if you were abused as a child, then you shouldn't even be allowed in society. I don't even know what she could even be talking about. Because Izabella Loving just tolerated it. She turned the other cheek. She wasn't strong enough to stand up for herself. She was supposed to be a beast. She was supposed to be a monster. And because she didn't have the fortitude and the backbone, I don't even know what the hell she's talking about. Maybe Candace Owens is saying that Izabella Loving would be so messed up that she wouldn't be able to function in society or something. I imagine a world where Izabella Loving could have escaped and then got herself into a good village, a good home, in a good community, in a good state, where she was encouraged to be the best version of herself as she could be. Not only would Izabella Loving have been a great citizen, she would have been a great mother. If anything, the wicked give us a motto of what not to be, and maybe Candace is saying that the victims of child abuse become child abusers too, and there is a possibility of that. But I think there's also a stronger possibility that the wicked give us a motto of what not to be, and so therefore Izabella Loving, since she went through hell, wouldn't grow up and put her own kids through hell. She would do anything to make sure that wouldn't happen. If anything, Izabella Loving would probably have spoiled her kids and would have been pushed around and walked all over by her own children. If anything, Izabella Loving was just like Christ. Just like Jesus Christ on the cross, turned the other cheek. And Izabella Loving had shown nothing but absolute and unconditional love. So she would be the model. It's one thing that Nicholas and Andrea weren't good people, but why not just stop at the wickedness? Why not just stop with the goddamned abuse? And I bet you if they did just realize they were fucking pieces of shit, that what they were doing was evil, and instead of saying to hell with Izabella, they said to hell with themselves. They pushed for reconciliation. And then Andrea and Nicholas just treated Izabella Loving right. I bet you Izabella Loving would have forgave them and then appreciated them, given her humanity back, and then maybe just chalk it up to growing pains. This is the one time when the Leviathan is good. Nicholas Loving is going to get charged. He's in jail right now with a $1 million, maybe a $10 million bond. There's conflicting reports, which What the hell? So he's going to go to jail. And he's going to go to jail for a long time. Most likely. But I don't know what Candace Owens expects Izabella Loving to do. I don't know what anybody in the world expected Izabella Loving to do. They found injuries all over her body. She had substantial bodily harm. They made her sleep in a 5x5 box. They had a little tiny mattress on the floor while her sisters slept on a nice queen-size bed. So out of the 3 daughters, she was Cinderella. She was having to sleep on the bed. She was having to sleep on the floor on a tiny little mattress some of the times, but other times she's put into a 5x5 box. Nicholas had admitted one time to have locking her in the 5x5 box one time. Oh, you locked her in? You locked her in. A 5x5 box? I mean, even a prison cell's like 6x8. And then you got, 8-foot ceilings or some shit. To live in a fucking box? There was that one video where the guy had folded the older woman and put her inside a tote. Like a 2x3 tote. So I don't know what Candace Owens expected Izabella Loving to do. If Izabella would have ran to a neighbor's house, maybe called the cops, called child services, maybe the social services would have found her a foster family. I guess there was a couple options there. But what if she would have ran to the neighbor's house and they didn't give a shit? What if they would have called the Child Protective Services and they investigated several times and found no abuse? What if the foster family was abusive too? Seems to me that Izabella Loving didn't have much of a chance, didn't have much hope whatsoever, especially in a society where we're helping Israel to perpetuate a genocide of 400,000 children. Right now, they're all starving to death. They're all goddamn starving to death. A whole fucking nation is killing a whole entire another nation. Why would Americans allow this shit? Because you got some people like Nicholas and Andrea who will put Izabella Loving inside a 5x5 box and beat her until she dies. So Andrea doesn't get any charges. So Nick is going to go to jail for a long time, but the wife, the so-called mother, yeah, that's a mother. Yeah, she cares about family a lot. From Izabella Loving's perspective, she never had a family. She never had a good family. All she had was 2 parents who were abusing her and then 2 sisters who, I bet you at first they pitied her and felt sorry for what she was going through. But then they probably turned on her and started hating her for whatever infractions her parents come up with, whatever trumped up charges. How come the mother isn't charged? She knew. Now she's going to play the victim? I mean, isn't she an adult? And hell, Andrea admits that she should be in jail for not doing anything to stop it, but that he should be in jail for killing her. So when Candace Owens talks about Izabella Loving not being allowed to be in society, what a fucking stupid, dumbass, ugly, sick fucking thing to say. What a sick fucking thought. Because out of the 5, out of the mother, father, sisters, and Izabella was the only good one. Talk about being psychologically fucked up. Her sisters, Isabella's sisters, lived through evil. And they're victims just as much as, I won't say as much as Izabella because Isabella's dead, but they had to endure the shit. But they watched terrible abuse and they tolerated it. And so what's going to happen with Isabella's sisters is that they're going to have a high tolerance for immorality and wickedness. They're going to grow up into being psychopaths. tolerate wickedness later on. They could watch their own damn sister. That's you. You are your sister. You're the same. You're what, 1 year different? You watched as yourself got attacked and abused. You didn't say nothing, didn't do nothing. And maybe they pitied her at first, but I've heard some even dumber things. It's not Candace Owens saying dumb things. But I bet you they blamed her. They blamed her for messing up all the time. How come she had such poor manners? How come she had elbows on the table? How come she fell out of the truck? Maybe Izabella Loving didn't do her damn chores. That's what somebody said about Tony Gripshover. He died 52 years ago. And people still blame him because he didn't do his damn chores. That's why he was kicked out, got in a car wreck and died, because he didn't do his damn chores. So is that Izabella Loving's crime? Makes me think of that honor killing on Court TV. They're talking about an honor killing, the Iraqi or Iranian, I want to say Iraq. There's an Iraqi young woman, teenager, who was supposed to be sent back to Iraq to get married at some sort of arranged marriage, and she refused to go get sent back to Iraq for an arranged marriage because she wanted to date some American man here. And then she was at school, and then she had heard that her father was outside, and she was terrified. She was scared to death. So the father and the mother were beating the Iraqi teen as if to kill her, and you had bystanders that had to pull them off of her. I wonder how many people would say that it would be okay for a mother and father to beat the shit out of their children up to the point of maybe even killing them because they didn't do right. They had their elbows on the table. They smacked their mouth. They didn't do the dishes. They didn't cut the tobacco. Bystanders had to pull the parents off of that Iraqi teenager. All right. Give me 5 minutes, man. Matilda's out there. Matilda's barking stuff because she wants to come back, but it's a nice night. Everybody calm down. And I'm talking, right? I'm talking, so we got to interrupt me. I'm going to just speak over my rude dogs. Thank you to all the dogs who are not speaking up. Thank you to Leap Erratic. Thank you to Evelina. I appreciate them not being assholes. I guarantee you there's no danger out there. I guarantee you. So Izabella Loving's parents made her sleep in a 5x5 box. Her two sisters slept on a nice queen-size bed. Nick had locked her in it once. He admits to locking Izabella in the 5x5 box one time, so at least one time we know of, but I bet you there was a bunch of times. Andrea, Nick said, put her in the 5x5 box most of the time. Most of the time it was the mother who put her inside the 5x5 box. Andrea said that she saw Nick kick Izabella Loving in the genitals. In the genitals? Even spanking is kind of... There's a weird... You're going to spank? You're going to hit the kid's butt? Like maybe a little, a tap on the shoulder or something, but to really hit him anywhere else... The belly is very tender. The head and face, that's a lot, that's you, right? So, to hit them in their brain. And I'm only saying hit them on the shoulder if they had to hit somebody else. And so really, I can imagine if you had the room, if you had the career and the money, you have a big enough house and you got the environment and you got your head screwed on straight, you wouldn't have to hit your kids ever. Kids unconditionally love their parents. All they'd have to do is just level with their children. Just level with them. Your life isn't turning out the way you want to. You're living in a tiny little tin can yourself. So the mother put her in the box most of the time. And then they also said that they saw injuries all over. Izabella Loving had injuries on her face, on her hips, on her pelvis, on her arms. Nick said that she fell out of the truck and so he had to grab her arm. She had a black eye. A literal black eye. I mean, in that whole thing is she fell down the steps. Oh, she just keeps falling down the steps. That's what they told her. That's what they told the officials. And guess what? The child services were called. Child services were called many times. Child services investigated. And apparently somebody said, well, she has a clean house and she had food in the fridge and that was all that they checked for. That's all that they checked for? How's that not domestic? Isn't that domestic violence? How many times do you get away with that shit? But I can imagine raising children without ever having hit them once. Only in self-defense, and you would be proportional. You probably wouldn't even have to hit them. You could just restrain them. Hold their arms. Or if they're attacking each other, that would be the only 2 times. But that's what they told the police. That's what they told child services, that Izabella Loving falls down a bunch. And that a sister had hit her with a plastic baseball bat. Oh, we didn't do anything, officers. It was our daughters who did it. And you know, part of me thinks that could be true, but where do you think the daughters got that aggressive, violent tendencies from? And then kicking her in the genitals? Well, she didn't do her chores. I told her to sweep up that damn floor. She didn't sweep up the floor, so I kicked her in the genitals. What the fuck? What the fuck, Nevada? So we could say for sure that Izabella Loving was innocent. Totally innocent. There are protests in Reno, Nevada. So that means there are good people. There was a big cruise, motorcycle cruise. There was like 50 people that had some sort of vigil, candlelight vigil cruise or something. So that's good to know that there's good people out in this world that are willing to stand up and speak up for Izabella Loving. Child Services had closed the case. The reports of abuse were not taken serious. When they found Izabella Loving dead, Nick had consoled Andrea. Oh, it'll be okay, wifey. No, don't worry, wifey. We'll just do it this way and do it that way. It'll be fine. Nick's next court appearance is August 14th. And then ultimately, I guess, I want to know who Izabella Loving is. If their sisters or their mother could remember her and remember everything about her. Her pictures, any videotapes, like what did she sound like? I just finished reading The Little Prince. There was a part in The Little Prince that was just asking, like, adults never ask the right questions. Adults never want to know, what did she sound like? What did her laughter sound like? What was her favorite game? What was her favorite cartoon? You guys are rude. Knock it off. Matilda's barking at bullshit to get you all to bark because she wants to get back inside. Fucking bullshit. I can't let any of my dogs out because one will act a fool and then the rest of them will act a fool. And you're messing up my song. I'm feeling like Jenny in the Forrest Gump. You're messing up my goddamn song. This is the most important part. Here's the thing. Adults never ask, what does his voice sound like? What games does he love the best? Does she collect butterflies? Instead, they ask, how old is she? How many brothers? How much does she weigh? How much money does her father make? That's the only thing they care about. So that's what I want to know. What's her favorite ice cream? What's her favorite toy? Who was she? Was she funny? She seems like she's got a nice little personality there. Did she tell good jokes? Was she a good worker? Did she ever go to school? Did she have friends in kindergarten? Was she allowed to go to kindergarten? She was 5. Because there was a person there. There was a soul. There was a personality. There is a consciousness in this world, a human consciousness, that was snuffed out. That was taken away way too damn soon. And that's fucking bullshit. So R.I.P. to Izabella Loving. She wanted to live. She wanted to grow up. Maybe get married, have a family, maybe have a career. She wanted to live.